Sorry about the microphone audio, it picked up my PlayStation's fans, and no, I didn't have to edit this on Share Factory because I got my USB working.
Hey guys, I'm just gonna quickly show you some of the best traps in the forest. Of course there's gonna be no cannibals here because I'm in creative mode in the forest because I've completed the game. So I have unlocked creative mode. But I'm just gonna show you some of the best traps in my opinion that I use. So starting off with the best trap in my opinion. So let's go into traps. Here it is, the happy birthday trap. So you need 20 sticks, 2 rope, and 4 logs I believe, and how many rocks? You need 2 rope, 2 rocks, and 20 sticks, and 4 logs. This is one of the most expensive traps, but it is worth it considering it can do a lot of damage to cannibals and mutants. So it can actually damage mutants. This will one-shot any cannibal, and it's good to put with, like, you know, in front of like one of your base's walls, for the sole reason that hello turtle. Oh, no, it's a tortoise. Oh, I forgot they do that. So it's really good to put in front of walls because you get like 5-6 cannibals running up to your wall, step on that stick, and right in their face that goes. So next, of course, this is one of the cheapest traps, and if you can't, you know, if you're struggling to get the sticks for that, this is the next best option. It's fairly cheap, and it does also deal a lot of damage to mutants. The deadfall trap, 3 logs, 3 sticks, fairly cheap, and if you just run into it, falls right on you. This can almost kill you instantly, same with this trap, so be wary of that. It's also really good for taking out cannibals and mutants, although most of the time you're only taking out 1 cannibal with it. It's still worth it. If a mutant runs right through it, amazing. You just did a lot of damage to a mutant, and it really helps you, especially because right now in my forest series we don't have well, one, we have a lot of echo from our mics, which isn't that good. Mainly my friends' mics. I think it's their mics or a glitch. I think it actually might be a glitch that I don't know how to fix. But the other thing is it does a lot of damage to mutants, and in my series, as of now, we're finding ourselves in a situation where we have to just constantly fight a bunch of mutants at this point. Sadly, creative mode doesn't let me reset this without actually gathering sticks, although it lets me make stuff without gathering the materials. That's made. So like, it kind of sucks that like this can only really take out 1 or 2 cannibals at a time compared to this like 3 or 4 running up to a wall and boom, dead. I guess you could angle this at a wall, but if it falls and a cannibal's barely in its range, it's not dying. That's the bad part about it, but overall it's actually a really good trap, and it's going to help you a lot, especially in early game when you don't have a lot of resources or don't have like the time to go over resources. This is amazing for that scenario. And like I said before, it will help you defeat any cannibals if all you have is just like limited arrows, limited sticks, but an axe, some hairspray, and some cloth to light the axe on fire. Next up, I wouldn't really consider this one of the best traps, but it's expensive and it does do a good amount of damage. I think you need a tree for it, and that's why I don't really consider it one of the best traps, but still gonna add it in because it will do a decent amount of damage. It's quite expensive, in my opinion at least. How many does it take? 10 rocks, 1 rope, and 6 sticks. So I think yeah, you trigger it like that, and then it knocks you away. Does a fairly good amount of damage. It spins constantly, so then it will knock other threats out the way. But then it slows down, and then just nudges you, which is why I haven't put this, like, you know, as the best trap. Sure, it does a good amount of damage, but if a mutant takes your tree out, it's gone. But the reason I put this before the lost trap on the list is because, well, it isn't the last trap on the list if you don't count the others as traps, which I don't, but I'm still going to add them. This is like third because it still takes mutants out fairly well. Fourth is, you guessed it, the noose trap. Like, I'm not saying this isn't useful, but like, all it does is hang cannibals upside down, and they're still alive, and if they do have their friends around, they will free them, so I don't find it that useful. So, it's alright, just not the best. You could, and here's fifth on our list, if I can find it, the leaf pile trap. Fairly simple to make. The only time this trap's really good is if you get a bunch of them, like 3 or 4, and put a bunch of leaf pile traps underneath, so all the cannibals are hung underneath to make sure they don't get out alive. You just light it on fire. But the one bad side of this trap is with the leaf pile, you have to actually run up to it and light it, and secondly, you could light yourself on fire mid-battle, which isn't that good, and you could also die while trying to light it, which is another bad thing about it, and it doesn't last forever. Next, I don't really consider these traps, but because I guess they are technically traps, I just don't use them ever. The explosive wire trap and the Molotov wire trap. I'd say arguably the Molotov is cheaper than the explosive wire trap. Both do a good amount of damage. I'd just say the only issue is you're walking through Okay then, so you're walking through your base, and say if you trigger this, you're dead instantly. You're not coming back. The Molotov trap, as you just saw, lights you on fire. I'm just gonna rebuild that if you guys didn't see that. Molotov trap just lights you on fire. It's good for cannibals once again if you're just walking through and you accidentally step on these. It's quite a pain, and this just didn't damage me. It took out a bird, so that's that. So, like, I'm gonna show a scenario where these are gonna be useful. So I'm just gonna build a really quick base, basic base that most people have, and I'll show you where in the scenarios where to put these traps. Also, because I just want to build a base, because I love building bases in this game. Any game you can build your own base, I love it. Yeah, also watch out for those traps, because they will get you, like, unsurprised if you don't notice they're there. So, let me just build it. I'll build it there, because that actually isn't even flat, but I'll just build it there, because that's the best I can go with. I'll probably, like, try to skip through. If I don't, my bad. I'll probably try to skip forward, but since my USB isn't working, I can't port this from my PS4 to my laptop to do editing on. I might have to keep this part in. If I can find a way, I think there is a way with Share Factory, just really irritating to do so. If I do so, then I will edit this part out. Alright, so now your base is set up. So say you have a base, but you keep getting attacked from cannibals, so you have your little pillars here to, look out for them. You don't want to get your food, your storage and all, to break your house, get your meat, or mess up your little farm here. So you have these walls. So I'd say you keep some walls like these to depending on how big your base is, it depends how big these walls should be, to keep the cannibals out. Most people build the walls out of wood, which is understandable. Wood is quite cheap, but if you can build some areas out of rock, like large areas, like in the series that we're doing right now, my walls are rock primarily. So what you want to do here is to say so at the start, at the front of your base, how you want to set up the traps and how you want to defend it is, so with the deadbolt trap, what you want to do is not put them on the wall exactly, and put them a couple feet away from the walls, like that, because they'll be rushing right in. So you're best to put deadbolt traps there. So once you've done that, if they're avoiding them, the next best thing to do is, if you want them to go into the traps, build some of these, build them like around the traps, around the traps like that. So make sure it's not too inconvenient for you not to be able to get in. So like say with this one, I'll just put it there. Normally I keep the front of the base uncovered, but sometimes, I don't, because like if they have like a really good way in, just do that. I mean, of this area, cannibals don't even spawn in, even though there's like a cannibal camp right there. That's actually the one cannibal camp in the game where cannibals haven't ever spawned in. I'm not sure why this whole area cannibals don't spawn in, but this is just because it's the flattest area I can give you an example of. Of course, you may want to, like, you know, do this in your ideal situation that you're living in the forest. See, you got to be careful though, so I wouldn't say rush through here. But this is fairly good, so if cannibal wants straight through there, it's getting killed. Ideally, these would work, but if you do have like an issue with getting that many logs, but say you're high up with stick trees and you think it'll be easier, or you have a bunch of rocks, just like build one of these around it. So like in the exact same way, I'm going to use like a quick stick fence. Oh my days, custom building. So like in that scenario, just like I'm going to use a stick fence, but do something like that, and like use that and build around it. But ideally, you're best to use these, the log ones, because they are a lot more sturdier. And the stick ones, the cannibals, the good thing about the stick ones are the cannibals actually avoid. But if there's a mutant or there's a group of them, they will still hit the stick ones, but the cannibals do avoid these. So if you want like an outer border, then yes, these are probably the best ones. But say if you can't afford that, then this is the best you have. Next, with the deadfall traps. So say in your area, so on your flanks, not your deadfall traps, your happy birthday traps. Say in these areas, they're going and close to the walls in general. So let me get the traps out. Happy birthday trap. So for these areas, yes, you are shooting out of them, but they can actually hit you from them. So to avoid them getting too close, you want to build these around here up close to the walls. So I'm not going to build them all over the place, but like say these would be ideal positions to have them in. And maybe just actually what, no, it's fine. You can block this area off with one of those log things if you really want. I'd say if you're using your bow from here instead of from up there, because you can't really get an angle, or your mate's up there and you've decided to keep an eye on the ground, you can shoot from here. So I'd say you use like a shorter wall, like a stick wall, bone wall. They avoid hitting those, or if you really must, a rock wall. So next from that, same with this side. This side could actually use a deadfall trap. So your best, if your base looks similar to this, or it's kind of laid out, this is really just so most bases have areas like this, so this is just like a way to lay out your traps. So like that, a couple feet away, then against the wall we're gonna put the deadfall trap here, just against the wall. Just remember the stick, this little thing in front of the actual trap is the stick that's used to trigger it. Don't put it the opposite way, or it won't really do much damage until the cannibals get to your wall. And sometimes it may glitch and not work, so you're best making the stick face this way, so you can just go in and it will go straight at you. Once again, just in case all of them do go up, you do want some space to, like, you know, use your bow or whatever you're using to hit them. And just turn this like that, up close to the wall, and build. So with these traps, what you're gonna want to do is, like, this is like an entrance, so not put them on entrances, and use rocks like these to, like, you know, block them from actually hitting the wall, because these will actually hold them back as they hit. Will they hit your wall? Yes, but they won't get all up close. So I'd say use it, and in some scenarios they won't even, if you're using the rocks really well, they won't actually get to the wall, they'll just be swinging. So once again, use those traps in that way. If you really want to use something like a noose trap, use them in areas where, like, your main base isn't, like, you know, damaged. So I'm going to give you an example here. Like, say if you want to get some, or just for, like, jokes, you want to, like, see one hanging like that, build them around here like that. Let's turn one around like that. This is probably gonna make, you know, block some of the area to, like, you know, put the archers here people who want to like bow them down from the back. So like that. But why do that when you could just like play, unless this whole area here doesn't have like an area to shoot from, which it probably should. You should probably put a deadfall trap if it does have an area to shoot from, which I recommend, because these little areas I can shoot from, like with my bow, have really helped me, because then I'd have to get out, fight from the back, or if they run up to the wall here, I can't shoot from the platform up there at them. So that side's really helpful. Sides like these open sides, same with the other side, same scenario. You don't have to fully armor your base like this, because if mainly what normally happens is if the people at the front hitting the cannibals do end up mainly staying at the front. But say if you are a bit paranoid and have the extra resources, same scenario here, deadfall trap there, I'd say. That's a door, so I'm not going to block that with a trap, because think of it, like, you wouldn't want your exit being like that. One like that, there, just like that, and another one right up close to the wall, like that. And I'm not going to block it off because there are deadfall traps there. I mean, not deadfall, happy birthday traps there. And just to make sure they don't, you know, try to weave in between, and those traps there are only used once these traps have fallen. Nice one there. Or you could build, like I said before, like a stick wall, as you can see there, or a any wall that they will hit but that isn't too tall. I'd say that'll be fine. And yeah, that's your guide to what traps you should use, how you should use them, and when you should use them in scenarios. If I haven't included the leaf trap or the explosive traps like the Molotov one and C4 one, I'd say, because one, I don't really use them too much, because if it's too close, it'll take out the base wall. If it's too far away, you could, as you're running around, step on one, like I mentioned before, and either hurt yourself in the game and lose your health, or blow yourself up, which is really, you know, shit in a scenario. This whole area is basically a simple scenario of putting it. That didn't run away from that close. And once again, I'm using creative mode, I'm not really modding or anything, but this is how you should really use your traps. Happy birthday traps up close, deadfall traps a bit far away. Again, third time this video it's happened. So yeah, that's how you should really use them. Leaf pile traps, don't really use them as much unless like you have to, like maybe on the really close in parts of your base, but once again, I wouldn't do that. But I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I suggest you guys watch my forest series. Yes, you might have to bear through the echo of my friends' mics. It's not echoey when I'm talking to them, it's only echoey in streams and videos, which I can't explain why, because I think it's the fact they're using the PlayStation 5's inbuilt mic, but when I talk to them on when they have actual headsets plugged in and I stream with them, like the last stream I did today, or yesterday, depending on when this video is put out, the fourth time this video, the Deep Rocks Intergalactic video, that one, same scenario there. Jack Boss had a mic plugged in and it didn't work, so I'm not sure what to do with that. But like in PC videos, that won't happen. But now I'm probably gonna end it here. Hope you guys enjoyed, hope you guys use my tips, because these are quite useful, and hope this video was useful to you. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't done.